Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge with your latest Manchester United news. Welcome to the show. Get your comments in. But what a weekend of Premier League football is what I want to say first of all. Look at that league table. We beat Newcastle without playing particularly well. Chelsea dominate Villa for an hour and lose the game. Liverpool only just beat Wolves 2-1 at home. It's absolutely up for grabs. And where I want to start off with is not with Amorim or Bruno or anything else. I want to draw attention to something that I think we need to draw attention to. We are not run by Bruno Fernandes or Ruben Amorim. We are run by Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the Glazers. And I'm watching all the games today. We've had a marathon on That's Football. And I'm watching United yesterday with you good people. And I'm sat there and I just keep thinking, if I was Sir Jim Ratcliffe, then I would be watching all of this and I would have the power to do something about it. And I would be going, if I really care about this football club, what an opportunity this is. Liverpool are not playing well. Chelsea have literally mirrored us. 8 wins, 5 draws, 5 losses. And we know we've been shit this season. So that means Chelsea have been shit this season. Villa, look, they're 10 points ahead of us. But, are they that good? And I'm looking at it and I'm going, behind me, I don't see anyone that's going to catch us up. We've got a minimum of Europa League football. We want Champions League football. This season is really weird. And I, as an owner, have the power to do something. And it's now or never. And I don't want to listen to, it's a really challenging window. We want to wait. We've got a plan. Screw your plan. I don't want to hear Amorim talk about a plan. I don't want to see Barada talking about a plan. I don't want to hear Sir Jim talking about a plan. The only plan you should be interested in is that league table and the opportunity that is there to get into the Champions League. And only you can change that. You can put Amorim in front of as many journalists as you like, as regularly as you like, and he can talk sense or he can talk shit. But ultimately, the people that have the power here are the owners, and I think a lot of the time we get lost in the finite detail of tactics and selections and managers. But actually, none of us own the club, but Sir Jim Ratcliffe has a say. And I just can't understand how you wouldn't look at that league table and go, wow. Like, at what point are we going to say we're run by a bunch of prats who've got no interest in this football club, who would rather spin bollocks out to the manager and their selection of journalists that are on the fucking payroll to go, you know what, it's a challenging market, we're probably going to wait till the summer. Forget the fucking summer. Like, we have such an opportunity here. I've never known a league table like it. Liverpool are not that good and they're in 4th place. We've got the same record as Chelsea and we're not very good. So Arsenal, Man City, let them fight it out for the title. Maybe Aston Villa, but 4th place is there and so is 5th. And I'm sorry, I'm seeing people going, well, if we beat Wolves and we beat Leeds and we beat Burnley, we've got a great chance of top 5. And I'm like, we've got a great chance of Look, honestly, I need to some sort of wake up a little bit. Because at the start of the season, I was like, I think we'll be somewhere between 5th and 10th. And, that's only because we finished 15th last year. I think finishing 15th last year was obviously one of the worst things that's happened to this football club. I mean, bloody breaking news. You know what? It was horrible. But it's also done something incredible. It's lowered the standards in the football club to something that's unbelievable. Like, quite rightly, we won the FA Cup and we finished 8th. And some of you said, that's fucking unacceptable to finish 8th. Ten Hag needs to go. I didn't agree with it, but I understood it. 8th is not acceptable for Man United. We finished 15th. And it's actually making people smile if we're 7th. Going, well, it's progress. It's progress. It's not fucking progress to finish 7th for Man United. It's not. And you know what? I looked at the team last night. I looked at the squad this morning. We should be finishing in the top 5. Like, we've spent £200 million on Cunha, Mbeumo and Sesko. We pay 300 grand a week to Bruno, 300 grand a week to Casemiro, 250 grand a week to Mount. We pay 200 grand a week to De Ligt and Maguire. Pay over 150 grand a week to Luke Shaw. We should be in the top 5. We should be. That's where we should be. Not because we're Manchester United, but because that's the quality of player that we pay for. And we seem to have got to this weird mentality that's fed by these journalists, to be honest, and it's fed by the club. Well, actually, 7th would be progress. Look at Aston Villa. Aston Villa are 3 points off the top. 3 points off the top. 10 points ahead of us. 3 points off the top. They don't pay anywhere near what we pay. They don't have the quality of squad anything like ours. And yet they're 3rd in the league. And we have people in our fan base and owners who put it out there, well, if we finish 7th, it's progress. And it's only because we finished fucking 15th last year that people think 7th is progress. It's not bloody progress. It's fucking shit. It's shit. We should be battling for top 2, in my opinion, every season. Now, we're not going to do that because of what the Glazers have done. But we have to get Champions League football and we have to add to this squad in January. And I don't care if people disagree with me on that because I'll just laugh at the comments. I'll go, ha, I've got standards. I know what Man United's all about. And if you want to comment, oh, shut up, he's being negative, 7th would be progress. Well, buy yourself a fucking encyclopedia of Man United and understand what we're all about. But ultimately, it doesn't matter. We're arguing about nothing. Because if the owners don't figure it out, we're screwed. We're screwed. If we hit May and we're not in Europe, it will be an absolute farce. There is an opportunity here to go and get Champions League football. It's there. And it's all about what you do in January. It's all about what you do in January. And actually, Ruben Amorim's not responsible for that. And neither is Bruno Fernandes. And neither is Luke Shaw. And neither is any other player that we think's good enough or not good enough. This is completely on the owners. And I think that the reason they keep putting Amorim up for interviews is because it focuses you on Amorim. And it takes you away from the real people, which is the owners of this football club. And I asked the question again tonight. If Sir Jim Ratcliffe, in your eyes, a Man United fan? He's not in mine. Is Sir Jim Ratcliffe a lifelong Man United fan in your eyes? No, he's a Glazer puppet. He doesn't behave like a Man United fan. There is no Man United fan that would be looking at that league table tonight and saying, let's keep our hands in the pocket till the summer. Any Man United fan would look at that league table tonight and go, this is an open goal. This is an absolute open goal. Chelsea are in crisis, Liverpool are in crisis, and we are right on their tail, and we have an opportunity in January to add to that team and kick on. And also, most of those teams are playing 9 games in January, by the way. 9 games. We're playing 5. We're playing 5. We've got Leeds, Burnley, Brighton, Arsenal, Man City. We've got 5 games. Arsenal have got 9. Man City have got 9. I think Liverpool have got 9. You know, it's a massive opportunity to kick on. And also, then in February, European football comes back. What an opportunity. What an opportunity. And they're sat there going, well, you know, we're going to wait till the summer. Wait till the fucking summer. We've got a massive opportunity over the next 4 or 5 months. It's an absolute open goal. We've got to take it. We've got to take it. And look, there are conversations we can have about back fours. I've said what I've said about that. If, you know, it's an 8 o'clock show. I'm always going to be driven by you. But what I wanted to get off my head is that they've got to back this manager and they've got to do something in January. And neither of those things are negotiable. They've got to back this manager and by doing that, they've got to give him something in January. And I sense that there's a little bit of, let's not back him because we might get rid of him in the summer anyway, and then we can pretend that we're just going for players in the summer. I also sense that Elliot Anderson ain't going to come anywhere near our fucking club if we're not in Europe. I watched him again against Man City today, and I think he's going to City. I think he's going to a big club. We're not a big club. So I'm not interested in David Ornstein or Fabrizio Romano or Ben Jacobs or anyone else saying that Elliot Anderson's a priority, because I don't think we're his priority any way, shape or form. So we need to act now and stop pretending about tomorrow, because there is a real opportunity. And look, on Amorim, I'm pretty sure, without watching back all my videos, I'm pretty sure I've been very consistent that I don't want to sack Ruben Amorim. I think I'm pretty consistent in saying that I want him to be given the season. And I don't want that to come with any parameters. I don't want that to come with any if, buts or maybes. I want this manager to get this season until the end of May. And part of this season is a January transfer window where he desperately needs midfield. I watched Chelsea Villa today and I look at so many. That Chelsea Villa game is so relevant to us. It's unbelievable. I look at Chelsea's midfield and it's on another planet. Like Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, Cole Palmer, they can bring Reece James in. It's unbelievable, that midfield. It's not unbelievable in an Arsenal or Man City way. I mean, they're title contenders. But that midfield for Chelsea is incredible. And they didn't lose the game because of their midfield. They lost the game because their defence isn't very good and they don't score goals. But that midfield is amazing. And I'm like, are we not learning from that? Like, Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez are unbelievable players. Like, they're so energetic. They never stop. And Reece James can play there as well. Our midfield's shit, let's be honest. Even if Casemiro and Ugarte have a good game, they're not as good as that. So, you know, that Chelsea, we're level with Chelsea and their midfield shits all over ours. So why we need a midfield. If Chelsea have got a midfield like that in 5th, we need a midfield like that in 6th. I then look at Aston Villa in 3rd and I go, oh my God. I mean, is this not the club we should be looking at? Like, they're not a big club like Man United. They've brought a manager in and they've let him mould that club in his way and back him. Now, they can't support him financially as much as we can support Amorim, but they've let Unai Emery basically mould that club and trust him. And they've just won 11 games in a row. They've just equalled their all-time club record, 11 wins in a row. They're absolutely getting battered in that first half, and he changes the game. I mean, they had no shots at all at half-time and 30% possession. At full-time, they'd had 8 shots on target. And in the last half an hour, they took Chelsea to the fucking cleaners. They could have won 4-1. But the first hour, you were like, wow, Chelsea are totally dominating this without scoring. That's coaching. That's a manager that's in control of a team and understands it and has, you know, an idea of what he's going to do. We're stuck in this halfway house. A lot of people are very critical of Amorim and his substitutions and how he parks the bus, this, that, and the other. Maybe he's not going to be the guy. But for the love of God, can we just give him the players to find out? Because we're stuck in this halfway house where it's like, okay, he's making mistakes, but we're not necessarily giving him what he wants as well. And we can't make excuses. You know, I look at Aston Villa 3 points off the top, and I look at Man United in 6th, and I hear Man United fans going, that's progress. And I go, how the hell can you say that 6th place is progress just because we finished 15th? When Aston Villa are 10 points ahead of us with 3 points off the top, with nowhere near the budget and nowhere near the talent. And that, to me, is something that is very, very, very intrinsically linked into the relationship between the ownership and the manager. I think Unai Emery is never going to get the backing he'd get at Arsenal or Liverpool or Man United, but there is a relationship there between the ownership and the manager where it's trust and build, and it creates this situation in the club and with the playing squad where there is trust and a work ethic. And you know what? What's more impressive about Villa today is that they played really badly for an hour, but they still had the mentality to stay in the game, stay in the game, stay in the game, win the game. And they've got a good midfield as well. I mean, surprise, surprise, it's another team with a good midfield. And we've got a great opportunity. We've got a great opportunity. And it's not going to be easy. You know, we're not going to go and win 11 games in a row. God, no. Old haircut guy will have a bloody skinhead. But what we can do is grasp this opportunity if we've got people at the top who want it. I mean, if the Glazers and the INEOS owned Aston Villa, they'd be mid-table because they wouldn't have the ambition. We need to have the ambition to go with the desire. And that needs to be shown. It has to be shown in the next few weeks, because if they don't, then we're not going to achieve it. And I for one, am fed up of being on this roller coaster. And actually, the reason we're on this roller coaster is because we get mugged off by lies about expectations and future and when actually Aston Villa are 3rd and they're 3 points off the top and they're 10 points ahead of us. You can't talk to me about progress and future when we're paying a lot more money for our players than they are? And we're spending a lot more in the transfer window than they are. Why are we not where Villa are? Because of the coach and because of the way the club is run. We should be there. We should be there. And we have an opportunity to do that. The Moose one says, January is significant for us. The intensity of not knowing what the board will do this January is extraordinary. We need a good season, ending story, but who knows with this board? Yes, very good point. Dayan says, would you want Amorim to stay this season and change to a 4-3-3 for the remainder of the season? What happens next season if he gets Champions League football? Would you still want the 4-3-3 formation? Look, Dayan, you've done a super chat. I've spoken about it this morning, and I'm entitled to my opinion. And, you know, I'm not in a bad mood. I think it's a big win for United. I think we've got a big opportunity. I think it's a roller coaster of a season with a roller coaster of emotions. But it is not negative to say what I'm about to say. I love this football club. I had a brilliant, brilliant upbringing with this football club. My granddad taught me everything about the football club from like the Busby Babes in the 60s and the 70s. And then pretty much from the late 80s to today, I've witnessed it myself. Man United is a back four team. That's what it is. And I want Ruben Amorim to be successful. And as I said this morning, when you recruit a manager that plays a 3-4-3, you expect us to play a 3-4-3 and buy players for that system. But we haven't. And we're not going to. And when I saw Man United play with a back four in the first half against Newcastle, I was like, that's what I want. And I had to see it to see it. And I've seen some of you comments on the video this morning saying, it wasn't unique. We've done that before. I've never seen Man United under Ruben Amorim start with a back four and stay with a back four for 45 minutes. I've seen us for 2 minutes go to a back four and then go to back five and change, but that was a definitive back four for 45 minutes. That's what I want. What that does for Amorim, I don't know. I want him to play a back four. I want Man United to play a back four. I think we're suited to it. I think the fans like it. I think it's who we are. I think it's in our DNA. I think fullbacks and wingers, 2 centre-backs, 2 midfielders, a number 10 and a striker. It's what we are. That's what I want to see. If Amorim decides not to do that and makes us successful, then great. But, my opinion for what it's worth is that I want us to play a back four. I don't want us to go back to that 3-4-3. I don't want us to, but I think there's a high chance we will, and hopefully it'll work. But I've got to be honest, and I have always said I prefer a back four. Whether I'm playing Football Manager or watching Man United, I prefer a back four. I don't know whether Amorim's going to do it, but I'm not. Again, as I said before, I'm not going to be guilt tripped because Amorim plays a 3-4-3. I want to see a back four. That's what I want to see. But I don't think we'll do it. But that's what I want. And you know who I blame for that? I don't blame Ruben Amorim for that. It's not anti-Amorim to say that. If Ruben Amorim turns up for dinner and he's got a fish and chips and I say I don't want it, I'm ordering a Chinese, you eat your fish and chips, mate. That's absolutely fine. It's not Amorim's fault. You know whose fault it is? The same people I was talking about at the start of the video. INEOS. INEOS and the prats they've appointed who think, hey, Man United will work with a 3-4-3. I just don't get it. I don't get the appointment at all. We've got to live with the appointment, and I do like Amorim, and I want him to do well, but when you look at the decision, and you look at where we are a year later, and let's leave Amorim out of this, you're Manchester United, you've sacked Erik ten Hag, the club's been playing a back four for decades, it's the most important appointment ever. It's your first appointment since you bought in with the Glazers, and somebody up there goes, I think we should go for a 3-4-3. And then someone else goes, yeah, I think that's a good idea. And then Sir Jim Radcliffe goes, at the end of the day, I think that's a good idea. And you think, you know what, when you look back on it, what the fuck were we thinking? Because a year later, we're back playing a back four again. What was the thought process in recruiting a guy that plays a 3-4-3? And did nobody go, well, if we do this, it's going to cost us $500 million, which we've not done. We haven't supported this new system with players that can play it either. And that's scary that you've got people in a boardroom making that type of a decision going, Let's rip up what this football club's been about for decades. Let's bring a brand new system in, and then let's not buy players for it. Let's whack a few square pegs into round holes again. That's not on Amorim. It's not on the players, really. The players were shit in a 4-3-3. That's on the players. But I don't get the plan. I don't get it. I don't get why. If you were on the boardroom, or I was in the boardroom when somebody said Ruben Amorim, I would have said, you know what I would have said? I'd have said, I really like this manager. I think he's going to be a really good manager. And I think he's very, very exciting. But it doesn't suit this squad at all. So if we're going to do this, can somebody show me the $500 million that we're going to need to spend in the next 18 months to support this? Because if we're not going to do that, as good as he is, we shouldn't go anywhere near it. We'd be better off going for Gareth Southgate or Thomas Frank. And I don't want to go anywhere near them. But if we haven't got the money to support what Amorim does, there's no point. It will make things worse. We'd actually be better off standing still with a Thomas Frank. And nobody in the boardroom did it. And a year later, we're basically, I mean, what was it Andy Mitten said today? I found this incredible, actually. He just reminded me. So Andy Mitten, journalist, said this today. Here we go. I think there's been a softening in Amorim's stance around his formation. We have said this for months. He will change the formation on his terms, and what are his terms? He's been forced into it because of injuries. Also, from within the club, there's been a feeling that he will change the formation. He is the coach, but there are other decision makers. And that's from a journalist who gets stuff from the club. And you're sort of like going, what does that mean? He is the coach, but there are other decision makers. Well, what? What? Only the coach should decide to change the formation. But you've got a journalist saying there are other decision makers. So you're seriously telling me that we've plucked a guy out of Portugal who plays a certain system. We've brought him to Old Trafford. We've not supported that system. And then a year down the line, we're telling him to change. It is scary. It is scary. But it's not reflective on Amorim. It's reflective on the ownership. And you know what? As much as I and you get frustrated with Ruben Amorim, if we'd bought 2 midfielders and 2 wide players as well as what we've bought over the last 2 transfer windows, you'd have a lot more reason to be frustrated with him if it wasn't succeeding. And that is a fair comment. He actually hasn't been given enough players to play his system. And now we're talking about, I'm talking about abandoning it. I don't write the checks and I don't appoint the managers. But I look at this United side and I want to see us playing a back 4. And that is traitorous to the manager because he plays a 3-4-3. But I haven't seen anything in a year that makes me think this is going to work. And a large part of that is because the people above haven't given him the players to do it. If I'd seen another 3 or 4 players come in and we were playing better, I'd probably be sat here going, look, these things are going to take time. But we can see the progress. We can see that these players suit his system. We can see it starting to work. But we haven't been given that. We're in this halfway house of they won't give him the players and then it's not working. So you're like, just go back to the 4. But that is absolutely not on Amorim. When I say I want to see Man United playing a back 4 from now on, I bloody mean it. But I don't really blame Amorim for it. I blame the owners. I think it's a massive, massive up yours to them because you did this a year ago. You did it. And now a year later, we're abandoning it because you failed, not the manager. Amorim might lose his job, he might not, but has he been backed properly? I would say no. But we always lose sight of this. Would you want Amorim? They've done that one. Look, and as I said, when it comes to the manager, back 4, back 5, back 3, give him till May. Give him till May. Give him till May. And they'll have a big decision to make because if he gets Champions League football, he'd have to stay. If he doesn't, there's a decision to be made. How can you say Man United's squad better than Villa? Watkins, Rodgers, Martinez, far better players. You've answered your own question, Andy. Did you not see the word squad when you typed it? Some fans, same fans that rate Agate and Dorgu talking about standards is funny, says EG. Honest question, what do you think of Dorgu at right wing, says Evan. Look, I don't know where I am on this, but I'm very consistent about this. Dorgu, Heaven, Yoro, Sesko. I'm honest enough to say when they have a bad game, but I'm absolutely adamant that we shouldn't be calling them shit or writing them off. They are young prospects in a team that, you know, is a difficult team to be in. And you can't be writing off people at 21, 22, 19, 70. You just can't. Like, they're not Luke Shaw. They're not Delo. They're not in their late 20s. Like, they are young players who are new to this environment, some of them very new, and they're going to make mistakes. They're not going to play well every week. Look, Bruno Fernandes, Delo, Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, Casemiro don't play well every week, and they're established internationals. And we hold these young players to the same standard of Bruno and Delo and Luke Shaw, who are international players and experienced. And yet, if Yoro has a bad game, you're holding him up to Harry Maguire. Yeah? If Dorgu has a bad game, we're holding him up to Luke Shaw. But that's not our fault either. It's the same as what I said about Amorim. It's not our fault that we're impatient. It's not our fault that we're frustrated. It's not our fault that we call players shit. Because we've had a long time of this. And most of that frustration comes from the fact that we're not winning games. Most of that frustration comes from the fact that we're not playing well. Most of that frustration comes from the fact that we don't have a vision. And most of that frustration comes from the fact that looking at young players who are inconsistent, we know they won't grow anyway. So I think some people look at Sesko and go, oh, he's just shit, it's no point. But he's only been here for like 5 months and he's only a kid. But I think people go, well, I've seen this before. Rasmus, I've seen it before. Garnacho, I've seen it before. You know, there's so many young players, he won't amount to anything in this environment. It's a waste of time and people don't get patient. Whose fault's that? Again, it goes beyond the manager. It goes to the top and the vision of the football club. But I like Dorgu on the wing last night. And as I said in the game, as a young player, it's easier to be a winger than it is a fullback. Because as a winger, you can have a shot, miss, but you'll get another shot. As a left back, if you lose your player and he scores, you don't get another chance. Remember when we were saying we'll beat Everton, West Ham and Bournemouth, let's not get carried away, Marks, average. Well, it's not about getting carried away. We should beat Wolves, Burnley and Leeds. And if we don't, then the reaction to that will be justified. But will we beat Wolves, Burnley and Leeds? Well, let's wait and see. But we should. We should. And as I said at the start of the video, we should be finishing in Europe as well. I think even I'm guilty of this. As I said, we bought Mbeumo, Brentford's best player. We bought Wolves, Cunha, Wolves' best player. We bought Leipzig striker. We spent £200 million. We've got players who are some of the best paid players in the league. And we're trying to glow up finishing 6th. And the league's shit. And we're not in Europe. We're not playing anywhere near the amount of games everybody else is. I think we should be finishing in Europe. And I don't think that's something that should be ridiculed. I think the standards have been lowered so much that even the players and the manager think it would be a dream to get in Europe. It's not a fucking dream. It's a necessity. It is a necessity. But look, honestly, do I think we'll take 9 points from Wolves, Leeds and Burnley? You're not going to hear me saying that. We should. Do I think we will? I mean, Leeds, playing like we did yesterday, I think Leeds will be difficult. Look, Wolves are missing another player. I'm sure he missed the first game because he was suspended, and he's suspended again. Was it? No, it's not Joe Gomez. It's Andre, isn't it? Whoever he is. Andre's missing the game. I don't know who he is. I think he's their second best player. I think Joe Gomez can. I mean, come on. I'm not glowing up Wolves missing a player, really. Absolutely not. Mark, sorry, I'll come back to that one. Am Road says, watching since 2017, usually agree with you. Yesterday you didn't like Agate starting, whilst also saying the manager hasn't treated Agate and Mainoo well. When are we going to let the manager manage? Oh, mate, you do you, I'll do me. That's pretty much, if you've been watching since 2017, you've been watching for 8 years, and you've either been watching without listening, or you're trying to, cause issues, of which I'm more than happy to have the debate. I don't know what you're talking about. When are we going to let the manager manage? I'm not a sheep. I'm not a lemming. And Amorim's not the Pied Piper. I don't care. I will say what I think, and everyone else should say what they think. We're not. He's an employee. I'm a fan. I can say what I like. Just like somebody will say it at work, someone will say it at the pub, someone will say it at school. We're not just going to sit back and go, trust. I mean, breaking news, when Sir Alex Ferguson was manager, not every fan sat there and went, trust. You know, you'd still go, what's he doing dropping Beckham? Like, that's not going to happen, mate. I think you're living in a fantasy, especially when the standards at the football club are so low. I'm not going to sit there and go, trust. You know, trust is earned, and it's not been earned by anybody in that football club for a very long time. In relation to what you're saying, what did I say after the game? Amorim got it right. So you can have an opinion, and as long as you are humble enough to say, I wasn't right, well, that's absolutely fine. I thought Martinez should play in the midfield yesterday, and I wouldn't have started Agate. Martinez was man of the match at the back, in my opinion, and Agate was decent in the midfield. But I didn't know we were going to play a back four. I thought we were going to play a 3-4-3, in which case I don't think Martinez would have started. I think it would have been Shaw, Heaven and Yoro. So, you know, we're not always in possession of all the facts. But Amorim got it right yesterday, which is why I'm saying stick to a back four, which he probably won't do. So there's a debate in that itself. With De Ligt maybe back for Leeds, and assuming we stay with the back four, how would you like the back four to line up? Would you play Martinez in midfield, says Alec? No. I would play Martinez as left-sided centre-back with De Ligt. I would play Agate and Casemiro. Emil says, are we getting Ruben Neves now? I've not heard anything that we are, Emil. I mean, I would welcome him at the football club, but I've not heard anything that we are. I think the pressure to win is going to be worse than ever now that he caved and went to a back four, says Z3. Look, he's got problems. He's got a media that have been wanting to change his formation irrationally for months. There are fans that want him to change his formation, and I am one of them. And maybe some of you are. And in many ways, doing it yesterday has shown us that he will do it. And now it's just a case of pressuring him to keep doing it. It's not a great situation if he doesn't want to do it. If he wants to do it, we'll laugh him. I want him to do it. You want him to do it. The media want him to do it. Man United is about a back four. If he starts doing that, it might be the vision that we're looking for. But I don't know. A year of Amorim, do you really think he's going to just go and start playing a back four? I don't think he will. I hope he will, but I don't know that he will. And if he doesn't, of course, it will be a debate point, of course, especially when you lose games. I think the pressure is to win. I've done that one from Z3. Thank you for what you do. God bless you, says Warm Machine. Thank you very much to you, pal. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate that. Glinius will always hinder our progress and keep us from the top. It's so depressing, honestly, but still hoping for a miracle. I mean, Andy, if we have any United fan out there that still thinks this is going to work under the Glazers and INEOS, it amazes me. It still amazes me that people think Sir Jim Radcliffe runs the football club when he doesn't. The Glazers own over 50%. He is basically their employee. It's not going to work. I don't know what the ceiling is with the Glazers and INEOS, but it's not Man United back on top winning Premier Leagues. It's not going to happen. It just won't happen. I'm absolutely convinced of that. It will not happen. We will not win league titles and Champions League with this ownership. I think the best we can hope for is to start getting back in the Champions League and being competitive. But I don't think this ownership model's very good at all. I mean, we were literally talking about it for the first 20 minutes. They just get away with it. Andre says, hello, Mark. It seems to me that there is no real direction in this club. The appointment of Amorim has been a disaster. The club is on its arse and we can see it. Then players who might come to the club can see it as well. Yeah, which is why it's so important to act now and take, I didn't think the league was going to pan out like this. If I'm being honest, I've left it there because at the start of the season, I would have expected Spurs and Newcastle to be part of the top six. And that would make it a top eight. They fell away. That's an opportunity. Chelsea aren't very good. Liverpool aren't very good. I would have expected Liverpool to be very good. I thought Chelsea would be better. Villa have surprised me a little bit, but I would have thought they would be around sort of 5th or 6th. It's such an opportunity. It's such an opportunity. And in business, as in life, when you see an opportunity, you've got to take it. So I think it's inexcusable if they don't take it and do what needs to be done in January, which is support the manager. I wonder if, Harsh says, I wonder if Amorim was promised backing and actually didn't get it when the time came to bring in the players. Well, you know, they've just tried to sign Semenyo. I mean, I don't want to go there, but they did try to sign Semenyo, so they've got money. And the hilarious thing is, I can't remember who wrote it today, but I read that United might try and do something in January, but it's a very challenging thing to do financially. It might have been Ornstein. I don't want to misquote him. Somebody said it today. Man United might try and do something in January, but it's still a very challenging time to do it financially. And I thought, we literally were bidding for Semenyo, who has a 65 million release clause. And if he'd chosen us, we would have paid it. So how can we, on one hand, be finding it a very challenging market financially, but we were literally going to give Bournemouth 65 million? They can't lie straight in bed. It's so contradictory. Hope you're well, Mark. And United stand. January is essential, says Daniel Thompson. It's the difference in getting Europe and not must sign a midfielder. I backed Amorim, but I do prefer a back four. I mean, that's a good point, Daniel. And maybe I've misinterpreted this, because I read a few comments from the show this morning, and it felt like because I want to play a back four, I want Amorim out. I don't see it like that. He played a back four last night. If he hadn't played a back four, I never would have mentioned it. In fact, I've been saying he shouldn't change his system, because if he changes his system, people are going to demand it. So I was like, you know, I don't think Amorim should go to a back four, because if he does it, it shows that he can do it and people will demand that he does it more. So I wasn't actually on board for him to go to a back four. But when he did it and I saw it, I was like, oh, I like this. I do like this. So I don't see myself as being anti-Amorim for wanting to play a back four. He showed me a back four. I remember what a back four is under Ten Hag and Sir Alex, etc. But Amorim's never really done it for 45 minutes like he did last night. And seeing it, he showed it me. So I want to do it. I don't see a back four meaning Amorim has to go, because he showed it. He can do it. So I want Amorim to have the season, and I want him to play a back four. And that might be, I think he'll get the season. I don't know whether he'll play a back four. I would say this as well. After the Bournemouth game on the Tuesday, I said, if Ruben Amorim gets two midfielders who are half decent, who are disciplined and compact and composed, we will get Champions League football. Last night, he played two midfielders who were disciplined and composed, and we kept a clean sheet and we won the game. So I'm right. What my theory is right. If he sticks two midfielders who can play midfield in that midfield, it works better. And also, he did it with a back four. So if he plays a back four with two midfielders for the rest of the season, I think we'll get top five. I do. But he needs more than Agate and Casemiro. Like, you can't play a midfield two that's composed and compact and disciplined when you've only got two. Because what if Agate plays shit and you need to take him off, or Casemiro gets injured? Mainu and Bruno can't play that role. I don't think they can do it. I think they can play in a midfield three. I don't think they can play in a two. So he needs midfielders. If they want Champions League football, he needs midfielders. That's the point. LZ says, do we recall Rashford for a back four? Did Amorim make a mistake to bully Garnacho out of the club? INEOS made a mistake with this guy. We need 4-3-3. Well, we don't recall Rashford because he won't bloody come. We'd have to kidnap him because he won't come, and quite rightly so. And I don't know whether you've watched Chelsea recently, but I don't think we've made a mistake with Garnacho. I mean, at the end of the day, I watched Garnacho today, and it was like watching a different player, because he tries to cross the ball and pass the ball all the time. And at United, he never would do it. But the great thing is, even when he tries to cross and pass the ball, he's still bang average. Like, most of his crosses miss. Most of his passes are just sideways. I mean, I don't think we miss Garnacho. I really don't. Mark, moan about the Glazers and Sir Jim before you moan at Amorim, says Urban. I'll do what I want, you do what you want, thank you. Would Sir Alex even survive modern United era, says Don. Oh, I hear this shit all the time, it bores me. You know, would your granddad survive in this world? No, it's a completely different world. The morals and things he would say would probably get him cancelled in 2025. So why do we talk about Sir Alex Ferguson, who was managing in 1986 in the modern world? It's got totally, absolutely nothing to do with it. I've never understood people who go, if Sir Alex Ferguson was managing now, he wouldn't get time. But he didn't. He managed in 1986. And he's the greatest manager we've ever had. What's it got to do? What's that got to do with anything? I don't get the point of it. It's, you know, we're actually talking about relevant stuff that's real right here. We've got shit owners. We haven't got the midfield we need. We're talking about what formation we should play. We're looking at a real league title. And people want to go, would Sir Alex Ferguson survive in the modern world? Well, what does it matter? I don't know. I mean, maybe get in the comments and have the debate. Fim says, when I told you a few months ago that this system was bad and needed a back four, you told me nothing was wrong with the system. What has changed? Well, first of all, give yourself a big old pat on the back and get yourself a hat that says I was right on it, because well done. And I'm being sincere. Well done. Second of all, I don't know again what it is about people that don't understand that when you're building a house and you want to build it a certain way, but then you dig the foundations and somebody says, we can't do that because the house will fall down, we need to build it in a different way, people would keep building it in the way that's going to make it fall down. Like, literally, life is about an idea, putting it into play, and then learning that maybe that's not the way to do it because new evidence comes to light. So whatever I said 6 months ago, I don't have to stick to it. Whatever I said 3 months ago, I don't have to stick to it. If I can communicate to you why I'm not sticking to it. That would be preposterous to say, well, I said this in June, and even though there's loads of evidence to show me I'm wrong, I'm still going to say it. That would be idiotic. People can change their mind. Of course they were. Of course they can. So to answer your question, which was, you said the system was bad and we needed a back four. You told me nothing was wrong with the system. What has changed? What has changed is that he has not been given the players to make that system work. So I don't know how long you were talking about a few months ago. Are you talking start of the season? Are you talking end of last season? Are you talking the summer? Are you talking February? Are you talking November? I don't know what you're talking about. But did we buy a midfielder in the summer? No, we didn't. We've got Bruno Fernandes playing in midfield. That's not system. Picking players is not system. System is the way you play with the ball. So Bruno Fernandes in the midfield next to Casemiro automatically means we will not retain possession, we will not be composed, and we will not be disciplined, and we will hit a lot of long balls. That's not system, that's style. That's a player that stops a system. Now, if you have Anderson and Baleba in your midfield too, instead of Casemiro and Bruno, that system might work really, really well. So he clearly hasn't got the players to play his system, and I don't like Bruno in the midfield. So if I play a 4-2-3-1, I can't play Bruno in the two, and suddenly the team's better. And I saw that last night. So that's why I'm now saying I think we need to go to a back four, because I'm absolutely convinced when Bruno's fit, we're not going to play a 4-2-3-1 because it won't work. So we'll go back to that. However, if in January we go and buy, I don't know, 2 good midfielders, maybe the 3-4-3 will work again. If he stops playing Bruno there, I don't look. There's nothing wrong with the system because it's worked at Sporting. There's nothing wrong with the system because Glasner plays a 3-4-3. So there's nothing wrong with the system or the formation or however what you want to call it. It's the implementation of it and the players that are going to play in it. I think Amorim's biggest problem is putting Bruno Fernandes in the midfield, and I've said it for a very long time. And I don't want this to turn into a Bruno show because it just ends up with here's the Bruno agenda again, which I haven't even started. And as I said, if you play that formation in the first half last night and you put Bruno where Mount is, happy days. Happy days. Hi Mark, I'm Nigerian and I'm watching the AFCON, not because it's my countryman, but how did Man United not try to sign Osimhen? He's a nightmare for defenders and very clinical, says Henry. Well, I think it was money. I think he's on the equivalent of 300 or 400 grand a week because of the Turkish tax laws. So, no, it'd be a brilliant signing, but it's the money. I don't think we can do it. I've got a few comments to catch up on here. Bloody hell, they must have absolutely ran in. Okay, let me catch up. Done that one from Alec. Where do you think we would be with a 4-3-3? I think we'd get top 5, Shahin. Just here to say Happy New Year, says P. Don, to you and the family. Also, everyone has a low bar where we finish compared to last season. Not me, though. Aim higher, never settle for less. Look, it's the most obvious statement in the world, but finishing 15th is the worst thing that could have happened because it's lowered the standards to a point where people see 10th as an improvement. And it's not an improvement. It's shit. Every time a manager has changed their philosophy, it was the start of their losing their job. I mean, yeah, I do get that, Tab. I do get what people are saying that, you know, you can't demand a back four because it's the end of Amorim. I do get that in a way because, you know, Ollie went to a back 5 towards the end, didn't he? And look what happened to him. What would it take for you to accept the 3 in the back? What does Amorim need to achieve to get your support and belief? Says Mihir. I mean, I'm not. No, look. I want Amorim to get the season. And up until yesterday, I would have said don't play a back 4 because it's going to create this debate, which it clearly has. Now I've seen it, I prefer it. I prefer the back 4. But if he goes 3-4-3 and it works, he'll be fine. He doesn't have to play a back 4. The problem is it hasn't been working. He puts Bruno in the midfield. It's a hard watch. So I'll be going, I wish we played a back 4. But if it works, then there won't be a problem. And to make it work, to answer the question, I think in a dream world, you need Martinez left centre-back, De Ligt centre-back, and a very good Heaven or Yoro as the right centre-back. You need Ahmad on the right, a good left-back on the left. Then you need, like, 2 good midfielders, so maybe it's Anderson and Stiller or Baleba. Then you need 2 number 10s like Cunha and Mbeumo, and a striker. But we're a long way from that because just think of the players I'm benching. You know, Bruno's gone, Casemiro's gone. So, you know, we're a long way from that if he's going to make it work. On the matter of Martinez, could it be that Amorim fears that he's injury prone? That's why he doesn't want to risk it. He just played him for 90 minutes. When I told you, I've done that one from FM, Will changed a lot from 86 to 2013 and Sir Alex still thrived. He would have thrived another 30 years if age had allowed him, says Shahin. Anything from your past detective life that has made you successful in the YouTube space? Gaz, what the fuck has that got to do with an 8 o'clock show on the United Stand? I can't even concept. It's a super chat, so I sort of want to say something, but what? Okay, let me think. Look, one thing I think I'm very good at is reading people. And I think that's quite useful in any walk of life, but I think it's also useful when reading journalistic pieces or listening to managers and stuff like that, because I think people, I've always said this about Rangnick and about Amorim, they're really good at sending a message without saying it directly. So I think that. But I'm only saying that because you've done a super chat. Like, I'm not saying, oh, I'm amazing at it, but I do think that being able to read people is a skill. And most of you probably have got it. You just probably don't realise it because what it is. It's intuition. And I think that Rangnick was brilliant at it. Rangnick was so good at it. He would say one thing, but be really saying something else. And I think Amorim does it sometimes as well. Thanks for the question, Gaz. Sorry for sounding smug. Thank you for the very great. No, mate, you're not the only one who's been saying change the formation for 8 months. So you have every right to feel smug. I said this last night, and I don't care about being wrong or other people being right. I don't mind. There are people that said sack Amorim in March, and if he gets sacked, they can go, I told you. It's fine. And look, there might be somebody saying sack Amorim now, and I'm saying give him till May, and he gets sacked, and then they'll go, well, we should have sacked him in January. Yeah, okay, you can claim that as being right. I still think he should get the season, though. Mark, one of his centre midfields joins the attack as a cam when we lose the ball. There's a gap for counters. His system is a problem. Bring back the 4-3-3, says LZ. And the Moose one says, January is our destiny, only for this season. And Ramazan says, to be fair, if I was a manager, the media pundits suggesting to switch the formation, I'd probably be stubborn to change to prevent undermining my position. Amorim would have probably changed it anyway. Well, I mean, there might be something in that. I've said that about Mainu. You know, he gets asked about Mainu so much. Does it get to a point where you don't use him just because you're fed up of people telling you to do it and you don't want to feel like you're being pressured into it? If nobody'd mentioned Mainu all season, would he have had more minutes? We won't know. Oh, here we go. David's back. Get ready for this, everybody. You know when you're just approaching the end of the show and you've had a really nice show and you spot someone... I mean, I'm tempted not to read it, but whatever, we'll do it. Mark, I got a date soon. Please wish me luck. Good luck, J. Dot, legend of the chat. Let's wish our good luck to him. Okay. Let me just have a sip of this. There we go. David is back. He says, Mark, you are no engineer or a manager. Amorim has much more football intelligence than you and others. It's like a broken record with you lot. Oh, he's not just taking a pop at me. He's having a pop at all of you. Good. I'll leave it to the chat. I mean, what difference does it make if I work for British Gas or not? What's an engineer got to do with it? What do you mean I'm not an engineer or a manager? What's an engineer got to do with anything? Oh, I can fix a boiler. Does that mean I'm a good manager? What are you talking about? An engineer? Of course, Amorim's got more football intelligence than me. He's managing Man United and he's managed Sporting Lisbon. But, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had more than me. Lou van Gaal had more than me. Ten Hag had more than me. They still made loads of fucking errors that we all told them not to do and they lost the job for it. So, you know, just because you're well qualified for the job doesn't mean that you make stupid mistakes that everyone else can see. And we're all entitled to our opinions, David. So thank you for sharing yours. Chris says that Chelsea result clear, fix, season club fourth. Chris, slow down. I don't know what you're talking about there. I don't really know what you're talking about. Look, fantastic show tonight. I've really enjoyed it. And it's great to keep that league table up. I've got to be honest. Look, I love this time of year. And I love this time between Christmas and New Year. Like, we've got 3 more games. I've got 3 more games? Got 3 more league games coming up in the space of basically a week. Tuesday night Wolves, next Sunday Leeds, and then the following Wednesday Burnley. There's 9 points up for grabs. And what I want to see, what I really want to see, is I'd love Leeds to get something out of Sunderland tomorrow, and I'd love Spurs to get something out of Palace, and I'd love to see a gap start to open up between us and 7th, because that will help us out as well. But if we want Champions League football, I do believe it's there, even though we're not very good, because Chelsea aren't very good. I don't want to hear people saying United aren't ready for Champions League football. That is such a load of bollocks. That's the standard shit again. Well, they finished 15th last year, so if they can get 6th, it'll be amazing. They're not ready for Champions League football. Hold a fucking minute, right? Liverpool are playing shit. Chelsea are playing shit. We're not playing particularly well. Why are we not ready for the Champions League, but they are? There's an opportunity there. It's all going to come down to the appetite of the owners to go and get the players that we need. The midfield is the biggest problem. We've only got Casemiro and Ugarte who can really play it. We need more. Simple as. Is 5th place Champions League? Well, it's not definitely, Ashton. You still need that second, one of the 2 coefficient spots. But I think, nobody's told me this, but I do think that we're probably ranked quite high in the coefficients because everybody's doing pretty well in Europe. So we should be okay. Oh my God, sorry David, we are not worthy of your brilliant football mind. Please keep up your good job. You're the best at it, says Mazrou Aoui. Would you rather have Gary Barlow or Andre Onana? Where, Pixel? What are we doing? In goal, I mean, Gary Barlow could be quite entertaining because when the ball's up the other end, he could have a microphone and sing some songs. Imagine that. We're on the attack and he could be singing, could it be magic? Could it be... Getting the crowd going a bit. Be great. Thanks, everybody, for watching. That Chelsea result, clear fix. Sky Sports News Club 4th. Liverpool. All right. I'll get it now, Chris. Thank you. Okay. Well, look, great show tonight. Enjoy the rest of your day or evening, whatever you're doing. We have got a 10 o'clock show back tomorrow. Don't know why I'm playing with my hair. I'm getting nervous. After 10 years, I'm not. I think I need a haircut, that's why. 10 o'clock show tomorrow, and we have an 8 o'clock show tomorrow as well. I'm hoping to have a bit of a chill-out day tomorrow because it's been a busy day today, and it is still the festive period. So, but I will be on a 10 o'clock show with you tomorrow. Actually, we've got some transfer news that I completely left out on purpose for the 10 o'clock show tomorrow, so we will bring that in. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Stay safe, take care, and I'll speak to you on the next one. Thanks for watching.